All right, and welcome back to The Lead Word, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. Today is Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. We have our guy, Chad Bauman, as always, and the newest addition to the show, Bridget. How are you? Welcome. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm glad to be here. Thank you. I'm really excited to get this started.
Yeah, so Bridget is a senior at University of Rhode Island. She will be joining us for the semester, doing all the behind the scenes work that Chad used to do by himself. So Bridget's taking over that responsibility. I know Chad's a little fired up to have someone help out with that side of that side of the podcast. So it should make a pretty good dynamic for the show.
I'm excited. It's a lot less that I have to do. So. And I finally get to be someone's boss. Never been that before.
Oh my God. You're the worst.
I 100% intend to go mad with power because, I mean, you go mad without power, it's just nothing to do.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about the games this weekend. Of course, the Super Bowl coming up, not this week, but the following week. Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Chad, I got a lot of my frustrations out on that. Some cheese. It's a quite the epic rant, but I'll just hand the keys over to you. We'll start with Tampa. Tom Brady, the guy with the lucky rabbit's foot, somehow, some way, just decided to be the first quarterback to ever host a home Super Bowl at the age of 43.
So, again, I don't know how much Bridget has listened to our shows before. Bridget, I curse a lot. I hope that's cool with you because, it's whatever. So my thing, getting back to the Tom Brady here, I feel like we're giving Tom Brady entirely way too much credit for this Bucs postseason run than he deserves. Like, everyone's like, oh, Tom Brady's got them in the Super Bowl. Not real. Like, why are we dick riding Tom Brady? He's thrown 5 picks in 2 playoff games, 5 picks. And we're like, oh, he's got him in the Super Bowl. If anything, they're in the Super Bowl in spite of Tom Brady. It's their defense that's doing all the work.
But it's going to make it look like that because last year, Jameis Winston, to the common fan, would be the problem because he's throwing all these picks and he's making all these mistakes. And it was a young Bucs team a year ago that wasn't quite ready. Devin White was a rookie and Vita Vea was in his second year, and all these young guys needed an extra year to pop. And now Devin White, I just wrote this today, I think he's the best linebacker in football. Shaq Barrett's a real pass rusher. JPP's a real pass rusher. This defense has come together. So while you're right, it also makes it look like Winston was the problem, though.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if anybody's actually watching these games, like, so, for example, there's so many people, like so many fucking idiots on Twitter, like just famous examples, like LeBron James. I don't know if he watched the game. Mina Kimes, who gets paid to watch the game, don't know if she watched it. Like, oh, Tom Brady played really well. What fucking game were you watching? He threw 3 picks. That's not well. If that was Carson's stat line, you'd be getting torn to shreds by these people. I don't get it. Like, in what realm can you throw 3 picks and play really well?
I'm not disagreeing. I just think it's unbelievable. The fact that this guy's 43 years old, he left Bill Belichick, is hosting a home Super Bowl, and just has found himself a way into the Super Bowl. I can't get over it. How did he do this? It doesn't matter that he didn't play well. Everything goes right for this guy. He should play scratch-off tickets every single week. He'd be a billionaire. He would win every single scratch-off. There's nothing this guy can't do right. It's incredible. It doesn't matter that he didn't play well, Chad. He's in the Super Bowl. He's 43. Everything is such a mind, like, my mind's in a pretzel. If I would have told you 2 years ago that Tom Brady's playing in the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a home playoff game where there will be no fans, you would have checked me into a mental facility.
I would have told you there's a serious fucking glitch in the Matrix. That's what I would have told you. It's like that scene in the first Matrix movie where they're walking, like Neo just became a Matrix person, and they're walking in the hallway, and he sees the cat run by, and he sees it go by again. He's like deja vu, and they're like, "Oh, what did you see?" And he's like, "Oh, I saw a cat." Like that's what I feel like I'm watching here. Like it's just like, oh shit.
You know what really made me mad? It's like, why do I have
to show up?
Why do I have to be a good person? Leonard Fournette is an asshole. That guy was just the biggest bum in Jacksonville. Didn't even care. Showed up out of shape, overweight, jawing at coaches, causing problems, getting suspended. He's in the Super Bowl. Antonio Brown, this guy's an absolute clown. He couldn't have done anything right over the past 2 years. He's in the Super Bowl. Why should I be a good person, Chad? All these bad things happen to me and happen to all these great people, but we got assholes like Tyreek Hill, who has domestic violence charges. He's back in the Super Bowl. That's the lesson I learned. Why should I be a good person, Chad? What do I get out of it? Le'Veon Bell, that guy's in the Super Bowl. How? It's not right. Life's not fair, Chad. You can throw 3 picks, be old and be terrible, and you're in the Super Bowl. It's just the way it is.
Tom Brady's what's wrong with America right now. I'm just saying. I do want to give credit to Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich. I said this a few weeks back. I don't know if Byron Leftwich calls the plays for Tampa.
He does, I believe.
He does. Well, his script for like the first, it's like, I don't know, it's got to be like 20 to 30 plays. His script is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I give everything works. A lot of credit. He's built a hell of a staff.
Byron Leftwich, like his first 30 plays, like almost nothing misses. There's constantly guys wide open. There's all kinds of running lanes. And then, I mean, Todd Bowles, I feel like on defense, he just kind of like sits back and says, "Hey, go eat, boys."
Well, like, he does. He blitzes like 9 out of 10 plays, and it works.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of dogs on that offense or defense. I mean, all Todd Bowles says is just lets them off the leash and says, "Go eat."
Does part of you feel bad for Rodgers? Like 10%? Because I think he did outplay Brady, but the problem is Aaron Jones, costly fumble. Who's that corner? Kevin King. He got burned like 700 times. What was it? There was 5 seconds left in the second half when that touchdown was caught by Scotty Miller. That was terrible.
He technically caught it with he caught it with like 1 second left. There was only 1 second when they stopped the clock.
That can't happen. It cost your whole team the game.
Oh, Matt LaFleur is a pussy, by the way. No offense. Female listeners.
That was inexcusable.
Look, I'm just saying, I trust Aaron Rodgers to get 8 yards in 1 down more than I trust my defense, who has been totally fucking ineffective the entire game, to get a stop. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
The other crazy part of it is, I think it was Equanimous St. Brown who dropped a 2-point conversion. If they don't drop that 2-point conversion, I feel like he does go for it on 4th down. He should have went for it regardless. But I feel like in his head, he's like, well, we got to get the touchdown and we got to get the 2-point conversion, so we're not going to go for it.
And I would trust Aaron Rodgers more than I would trust my defense. It's like, the guy's a fucking Hall of Famer. Why are we not trusting Aaron Rodgers to get 8 yards? 8. It wasn't 4th and 20. It was 8 yards.
The other sick part of it is, what if the Packers just would have drafted a receiver in the first round of the draft instead of having Jordan Love as his backup all year? Does that game change if he just has one more guy?
I don't know. Is that guy Jalen Reagor?
No, let's say they have Justin Jefferson. They have one more guy out there. Green Bay.
How would they have Justin Jefferson?
I'm saying if Green Bay somehow drafted him this year instead of Jordan Love, they move up for a receiver instead of a quarterback. Does that game change?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not going to be mad at Green Bay for the Justin. I'm never going to be mad at them for taking Jordan. Well, Jordan Love maybe moving up to get him is kind of unnecessary. But look, it's not like Aaron Rodgers is 29 years old, 28 years old, like, you know, a certain quarterback in Philadelphia. He's like, what is he, 36?
37.
Like, he's 37? Okay. Like, Tom Brady playing at 43 is a freak thing. Drew Brees playing at 42 or 41 or whatever how old he is, that's not a normal thing. You can't expect Aaron Rodgers to be there forever. So drafting the guy that's the heir apparent, that makes sense. It's not like they made a totally unnecessary pick and took a backup quarterback for apparently no reason at all with their second round choice. That would be inexcusable. I don't think I could ever trust a franchise that would do something that stupid. But Green Bay's situation is totally different.
I'm just mad, Chad. This guy's been in the league 19 years, and he's going to be in the Super Bowl for 10 out of the 19 years. It just doesn't seem fair.
I mean, at this point, I would say, yeah, because he kind of basically sat back and said, okay, where do I have the best chance for this thing to work out? And then he's like, well, I could go to Florida, and either I go to the Super Bowl or I don't go to the Super Bowl and I just get to, you know, hang out with all the other old people in the sun and on the beach.
But to me, this is way more impressive than Peyton Manning's run with the Broncos in that championship. He got benched that year for Osweiler.
I mean, I feel like there's a couple times these last two playoff games where you could have justified benching Tom Brady. You didn't get benched, but you could have justified it.
I don't know. I don't have anything else to say on it. It's soul crushing, Chad.
I mean, well, the stuff you said about Le'Veon Bell, what's his name, Antonio Brown, and all those guys, that I get. I mean, Tom Brady's at least a decent guy. Like, if anybody, you could be like, oh, well, at least he deserves it.
Everybody should be joining the TB12 diet, I guess.
No, I heard in order for that to work, you have to kiss your son on the lips. I'm not into that.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the other game. And I said this on the other show, but to me, yes, the Bills lost, but I almost feel like you can't be too upset if you're a Buffalo Bills fan. That team was always 1 year away. They were building something special. You should be encouraged that Josh Allen looks the way that he does. The bottom line is that team doesn't have a running game yet. That team quite doesn't have that Kelsey tight end that puts them over the top, or that number 2 wide receiver that isn't Cole Beasley to put them over the top. Buffalo's a good football team. They're an awesome football team. They're just quite not good enough yet, but they will be. So while they lost, I don't feel like you should be discouraged if you're a Bills fan.
I do feel bad for the Bills fans, though. I saw a video yesterday. It was it was like somebody laid out, you know, the table, right? Guy like walks up to it and like they start playing taps. And then he does like an about face and he walks up some stairs, and while he's walking up the stairs, the whole time they're playing taps. And then he jumps off and he jumps off the roof, and it's like the last like table jump of the year, they said. You know what would have been
a really sick joke? All the good people of Buffalo are sitting there celebrating like, hey, the Patriots finally stink. We finally got rid of Tom Brady. And what if they would have met him in the Super Bowl? That would have been a sick joke. For 20 years, the good people of Buffalo just get stuck in their back pocket by the Patriots. And then finally, the Bills are really good. They get over the top. And then once again, the devil, Tom Brady, would have been meeting them in the Super Bowl. That would have been a sick joke.
I don't know if that would have been so much of a sick joke, because it's not like the Bills, with the exception of like the last couple of years, have been good. So it would have been like whenever Tom Brady beat them before, it was like, oh, they beat the Bills. The Bills suck. Yeah. Now, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that man has terrorized that franchise. Tom Brady, I saw this stat the other day, 32-3 against Buffalo in his career. That's like made up.
Isn't he like the winningest head coach in Buffalo Stadium's history? Or
Tom Brady
winningest player, I think.
Tom Brady has more wins in that Bills stadium than any other player ever. Like even the Bills home games. That would have been a sick joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel for the Bills fans. I would have liked to see them go to the Super Bowl, the Bills Mafia in Tampa. That would have been nice, but
we can't have nice things anymore, Chad.
I don't know, man. I said it last week. You know, as much as I'd want them to win, I still want Andy to get a second ring. I think if Andy gets a second ring, that's going to solidify him as like a Hall of Fame head coach. I don't think there's an argument at that point.
He already is.
I agree. But I feel like there's people out there that they make the argument against Andy Reid because, you know, he had the whole, 4 consecutive NFC championship games that he lost, or no, 3 that he won, or 3 he lost. Then he finally wins 1, and then he loses with the Eagles. Then he plays the Cardinals in the championship game, and he lost that one. I feel like there's always a lot of excuses for Andy Reid. Like, oh, he only did it 1 year. Well, I mean, yeah, whatever, but I mean, at this point, if he wins number 2, you can't. There's no argument. It's just he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's a hell of a coach. Put him in the hall.
I said this, but Kansas City to me feels like that Golden State Warriors team. Is there a chance they were bored the last how many weeks of the year, and they were just saving up all their ammo? That Andy Reid was just dialing up these plays that he didn't care if they won or lost. Like during the last couple weeks of the regular season. This is a team that didn't cover 8 straight weeks, gambling wise. If you bet against Kansas City the last 8 weeks of the year, you would have won money every single week because they didn't cover the spread. Is there a chance they were bored?
Yes. I told you this last week. There's 100 million plays that Andy Reid has yet to call this whole season. He's got like fucking stacks of plays he hasn't called yet. He's just waiting. Just like, let me get a chance to call this play. Let me get that chance. And Andy has tons of plays that he just saves for special occasions. That you could go an entire season and never see him call. But then, boom, he's in the playoffs, and here's this play that he's never called before.
I also want to talk about the Chiefs' defense, because I think they did play a hell of a game against Josh Allen. They have some guys. Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu. Their corners they're kind of no-name corners, but they're pretty good. Can we stop pretending like the Chiefs defense is just terrible, Swiss cheese bad? Because they do have some star power.
I don't think they're terrible. I think, and I said this before, I think they're a lot improved from what they were last year, but I still don't think they're the best defense in the league or anything. I don't think
I'm not saying they're the best defense in the league, but there's a lot of teams that don't have a Chris Jones on their defensive line. There's a lot of teams that don't have the Honey Badger at the back end covering up for a lot of sins. I don't think it's a defense that's void of talent. They have some players.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I think they have a good defense. I just don't think it's a great defense yet. They have pieces.
Do we have anything else in the championship games? Or should we get into a prediction for the Super Bowl?
I can't think of anything else. I think we covered pretty much all of it.
Bridget, who's your pick? Tampa, Kansas City.
As much as I don't want it to be Tampa, I feel like it will be, just because of, Brady and everything. So
he's got the lucky rabbit foot.
He does. I mean, I'm from Massachusetts, so I feel like I do have to kind of root for the guy just a little bit, but what are you gonna do? He does have that lucky rabbit foot.
Chad, what do you got?
This is so hard. I've been thinking about this ever since the games ended on Sunday. I have no idea. It's so difficult because I think coaching wise, I think, like I said before, Andy Reid's a Hall of Fame coach. So I'll give Kansas City the edge. Quarterback wise, I think you have to say Pat Mahomes at this point is better than Tom Brady. Just looking at this season alone, these playoffs alone, Pat Mahomes is clearly the better quarterback right now. Wide receiver wise, but Tampa's probably got the edge there. Although, Kansas City's not like they're starving for wide receivers or anything like that. But defensively, Tampa's definitely got the edge defensively. And I feel like that's where, that's what they've relied on to get here. And I feel like that's what's going to carry them and make this a close Super Bowl. But you know what? I got to go with the better head coach quarterback combination. So I'm going to go Kansas City.
I'm going to take the Chiefs too, but I don't feel good about it at all. Isn't it funny? Tom Brady shows up to Tampa. The Lightning win the Stanley Cup. The Rays go to the World Series. The Bucks are in the Super Bowl. Something's going on there. It's freaking me out, Chad. Everywhere this guy goes, they win. Think about the city of Boston. He was responsible for championships that he wasn't even part of. The Red Sox didn't stop winning. The Bruins got a title. The Celtics got a title. I don't know. I think he was blessed by the stars.
Yeah, or he made a deal with Crossroads deal, soul to soul. I don't like you said. I don't feel good about picking the Chiefs either. I think,
and the fact that Kansas City beat Tampa earlier in the year.
This is a hard one because it's like, yeah, like the Chiefs are a good team, but I mean, this Tampa defense has been shutting people down. Like it's hard. I don't feel comfortable with either. Honestly, I don't feel comfortable giving either pick. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a close one.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. In case you hadn't heard, your favorite Renegade Sports Media Group has its own Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media to support our efforts to continuously bring you sports, gaming, and other media coverage as only we can. We've got 4 different membership tiers. For $3 a month, we'll give you a simple thank you on our Patreon site. For $6 a month, you get a thank you and you get to become a recruit in Jackson Law's Vendetta University Gaming Series. For $10 a month, you get everything from the previous tiers, a special thank you at the end of our videos, free access to our upcoming Discord chat, and a free koozie after 4 months. And then the big dog, $50 a month, gets you everything from the previous tiers, as well as opportunities for Fantasy League invites, stream gaming, possible invites to mock NFL and NBA draft sessions, a once-a-month Google Hangout, and after 4 months, a free t-shirt. Yeah! Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media and help us to improve our pledge to bring you the best sports, gaming, and other media coverage.
All right, before we wrap up, do you want to spend a couple minutes on the Conor McGregor fight? I don't know if you watched it.
He got his ass beat wholesale. It was the first round was like kind of close. It was like, okay, Poirier kind of got some strikes in. He got the takedown, but Conor landed some strikes at the end of the fight, at the end of the round. So it's whatever. But that second round, it wasn't even close. Poirier put fucking hands on him.
I think this has been evident for the past 2 years. McGregor just doesn't have that eye of the tiger anymore. He's gotten his money. He's a loudmouth. He likes to talk, but at the end of the day, he doesn't care anymore. I don't think he does. I don't see that same mentality he had before he got all his money. He shows up to press conferences with his whiskey brand up on the stand. Like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah,
those same sparring partners he used to work out back in the day, he doesn't anymore. Now he just takes his little 3-year-old kid everywhere and he's like, yeah, I'm training really hard. No, you're not.
Well, you saw what Khabib tweeted after the fight or whatever, right?
I didn't see that. What did he say?
He let me look it up. I'll give the exact quote if I can find it.
I just don't think he cares anymore. And the other part of it is the guy is the same fighter he was 5 years ago. He still stinks at wrestling. He still doesn't protect any of his leg checks. He's the same guy that he was 5 years ago. And all these guys coming into the sport are significantly better wrestlers, or they're significantly more well-rounded. McGregor has a good left hand. It's about all he's got. You got it?
Yeah, I'm still looking for it. I agree with what you just said. I think he's definitely one of the most one-dimensional fighters in the UFC. No, I can't find it. Basically, after Conor got his ass beat on pay-per-view, Khabib tweeted out, he said something like, see, this is what happens when you fired like all the guys that got you there. You're no longer working out with the same coaches or the same sparring partners. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Khabib called him out on it, and he was like, you basically fired everybody that got you here, and now you just kind of suck. So and Conor said something back about like, oh, if he wants to be disrespectful, it's whatever, but he can come fight me too. Why? Like,
if he can't beat Poirier, he doesn't belong in the same ring as Khabib.
Like, everybody saw you get your fucking just.
He's never going to be good enough of a wrestler to be able to even sniff Khabib, ever.
Now, like, at this, like, it was one thing, like, after Conor lost to Khabib, it was like, okay, he's still talking trash because he's trying to get the rematch, whatever, trying to build hype for it. Now, at this point, it's kind of like, you ever see, like, the little chihuahuas, little Jack Russell Terriers?
Ankle biters.
Yeah, just like behind the fence, like barking, and then like the big old Rottweiler, German Shepherd, American Pit walks by, and he's just yapping at him. He's just rah, rah, rah. But you're like, dude, if there wasn't a fence there, he'd tear you up. That's what it feels like at this point. It's ridiculous. Shut up, Conor. You're washed. It's okay. You had your run. It's over for you. Sell your whiskey and then, go back to Ireland. I don't know, whatever you do for fun.
All right, Chad. Pretty good show this week. I don't have anything else. Do you?
Trying to think. Anything special? No, I can't think of anything. Bridget, right. Closing thoughts?
Ooh, closing thoughts. I hope that my pick for the Super Bowl ends with how I want it done. So, but yeah, pretty much it. All
right.
Okay. Good. Bridget just wants us to be wrong. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well then. Oh, actually, no, never mind. So with that being said, don't forget to go check out Patreon and give us money. Pay for whatever tier you want. Still working on the Fight Vendetta author of your choice tier. Still in the works. Got some insurance paperwork to go through or whatever. But it's coming. But click on other tiers and do whatever. Check out the site on Twitter, Vendetta_media. That's where you're gonna get all the articles, all the other shows, and all the updates. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That way you can see everything that Jackson is doing on the YouTube channel. And follow me on Twitter at Lilfooted, LILFWOTD. Trey on Twitter at Trey Daubert, TREYDAUBERT. You can follow Bridget on Twitter if you want, but I don't know her Twitter handle, so can't tell you that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.